won't stop it. My day ones here to dance at the beginning. So you know it's only right, that's how we end.
Take the Lincoln Tunnel through Weehawken, through Secaucus, across the Hackensack River, and you'll arrive, as we have, at MetLife Stadium at East Rutherford, New Jersey. Tonight, we kick off Week 3 with a great Thursday night matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. 2 weeks have come and gone. It's off to Week 3, and we're underway on EA Sports.
Ready up? Drill 52. Black Ultra. Ready?
They'll come out throwing here on first down. And incomplete to open things up.
The defender certainly didn't forget about him leaking out of the backfield. There was a guy ready and waiting to pick him up in coverage, and that throw had no shot.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25.
Watch out now. 50 Fury.
First carry for the Iowa State man, Breece Hall. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on first down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on second.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in the expected passing situation.
Ready?
On third down, he'll drop to throw. He completes that to Garrett Wilson. And he's got some space here. Touchdown! Garrett Wilson, his first touchdown of the new season. And the Jets need just 3 plays to go down and take the early lead. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. Is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be fielded inside the 5. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come up 1st and 10 at about the 32. They'll start this drive out on the ground. Oh, he's got a little daylight. There he goes, right side. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. A great play there, with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Dolphins are able to strike back quickly with an opening touchdown of their own. Jason Sanders now for the extra point. Footing likely going to be an issue all night here on a rainy night, but this one is good. Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The New York offense taking over for their next possession. And they are losers of 2 straight coming into this Thursday night game. Is it more difficult, CD, when you take a losing streak into a quick turnaround game like this?
It certainly is, because you don't get time to work on the issues that you've had throughout the season that caused you to have the record that you're having. You can't really get those set. So now you're trying to minimize those and maximize what you've been doing well. And I remember a game recently where one of the assistant coaches said to the head coach, forget our running back rotation. This guy has a hot hand, and they rode him to a victory. Those are things you have to look out for in games like this.
3 yards on the pickup. That's going to set up an interesting third and about 4 to go. This defense for the Dolphins, very strong last week as they helped their squad improve to 2-0 on the young season.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and trying to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver?
Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete.
I like the calmness of how he played the ball here. No panic in his eyes as that throw arrived. Tracked it from the moment it left the quarterback's hand, and that's just where he needed to be to knock it away.
On is the punter man as he boots this one away. Nearly broke that one. As it stands, though, a heck of a 36-yard run back. And the Dolphins will begin this drive in great field position, 1st and 10. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They'll try and run this one right up the gut. And they'll get 8 out of this before being stopped at the 28. If these kinds of lanes are available, you have to feel like he's going to have a pretty big game on the ground.
Yeah, you can tell early on he's got a little burst in his step, and that's a big pickup right there on 1st down.
Hands it off out of the gun. And a hard-working run here as he's got it inside the 20, down to the 17. 87 yards rushing for him now as he has gotten the night off to a hot start. Boy, some big runs here, Charles, already in this first quarter.
Yeah, if the lanes are there, go ahead and exploit them. But what I like the most, how decisive he is, putting his foot in the ground and going.
And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. Same exact result as last play, a pickup of 11. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. But also like what the runner's giving us, too.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Carl Lawson with a little how do you do as he gets in there for the sack.
Well, there's still time to rectify this situation because the silver lining, it took a sack on 1st and goal. But that close to the goal line, that still definitely hurts.
1st down, a bit of a disaster, and now on 2nd and goal, back even further. Tua sets up to pass it. And it's incomplete. That would have been 6 points, but somehow he couldn't rein it in.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. Looking to pass. Tua. And this pass broken up. The contact well timed there, and now 4th down.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
Sanders' kick is good, and the Dolphins have taken the lead. So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number 1. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
The New York offense taking over for their next possession. Winless to start the year at 0-2, and now they get the Thursday night game here in Week 3. So, I don't know, does the fact that they're back out so quickly, Charles, help or hurt their cause?
Oh, I say unequivocally help, because you always want a Thursday game earlier in the schedule rather than later, just because the grind of the season hasn't really set in yet. But also, if they can get a win here, they get a mini open week, recharge a little bit, and carry some fresh momentum into the rest of the season.
Trouble 38. Ready?
Ball again on second down.
And the big boys up front, they're going to stop him right at the line. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by Xavier Howard. And the Dolphins are going to take possession of the football. 3rd and long that time. He was trying to make something happen, but a little too risky.
Well, the field tilted on him, and what I mean by that is what you said. 3rd and long. Got to push it downfield to try and pick up the first down. Defensive backs live for this situation, and they took advantage of the young man right there.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he'll get this just inside the 30-yard line.
And it is still early, just the first quarter. But you start prorating the numbers, and we might be in for some history. I mean, that last run puts him over 100 yards already, and we've still got 3 quarters to go.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Play action. Now it's Tua. Going to throw deep for the end zone. And this one incomplete. Oh, he couldn't hang on to it in the end zone, and that's one that'll haunt you. And now it brings up 3rd down. The turnover put him in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
He got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. He's going to have the first down and then some. Touchdown, Dolphins. A great effort there. He scored on the ground and through the air as his guys are able to extend their lead. Extra point up and good by Sanders, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally, because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated, because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
52 blaster.
On second down, a run with Hall. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well. But when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target. Incomplete.
The quarterback got away with one there. Looked like he was in line for a pick, but instead it's knocked harmlessly to the turf.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Here's Hill on the return. A nice return that time, gets 12 yards back. And it'll be Dolphin football. The Dolphins at the line, ready for their next drive. They're riding a 2-game winning streak into this Thursday nighter. How easy is it when you're on a roll to stay on a roll given the quick turnaround?
Well, you would think it'd be pretty easy because everyone's locked in practice and meetings because everyone feels good about themselves. And for coaches, this is where they have to tell themselves, don't add too much. Don't worry about game plans as much as players. So look at your play sheet and think, give it to the guys who play best and don't worry about the rest of it.
Here's a handoff out of the gun. He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards. After 1, 17-7 the score on EA Sports. The Jets will bring in a nickel set here as they try to stop this 3rd down. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he won't get close. Only a yard, 4th and 3.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this 3rd down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stuffed them for almost no gain.
And here comes Berrios. 35 yards that time on the punt. And the Jets offense will be backed up to start this drive as they've got it 1st and 10. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And this is not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness. Maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. The Jets at 0-2 here to begin the season. And listen, they made their share of mistakes in these first 2 games, CD, but talking with them in the days leading up to this one, doesn't seem like they've lost any confidence.
I would agree with that, and what they told us was that they weren't planning on making any drastic changes. They didn't see the need to shake things up. They were going to continue to plow ahead. They thought they had the right guys on the team and in the locker room, but they do have to start winning some games.
They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first 2 plays. Didn't amount to much.
And now facing a 3rd and long at the outset of this drive. They'll set up to throw. Got an open man. That's C.J. Uzomah. And he is going to have a Jets 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
And that's well executed there on 3rd down. And I love the confidence that they had to let their tight end try and find some space in the middle of the field, right in their quarterback's line of vision. And QBs love to make that easy throw, and they hooked up there for a 1st down.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Back to throw. The Dolphins get there this time, and they bring him down. Now they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. He'll look to throw. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
This defense has certainly played well so far in this game, and the coverage has been tight on just about every throw. Forced a few here so far in this game, and now it brings up 4th down.
Now Hill to return it. 51 yards on the punt there. And they will take over 1st and 10.
At their own 28-yard line.
Ready.
The Dolphins at the line, ready for their next drive.
And thus far, the weather has not slowed this offense down one bit. They've looked good so far in the first half.
They certainly have. And think back to our meeting with the head coach. And we asked him, because we saw the forecast for this game, didn't we? We said, hey, have you prepared for this? And he talked about the different drills that they've done in adverse conditions, the wet ball drills, things of that nature. He said, I don't think it's going to slow us down much. We tend to handle it pretty well, and he's been right.
Yeah, they'll stop him after a gain of a couple to the 33. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Now Tua. They're going deep for Hill. This is caught inside the 15. Touchdown. Tyreek Hill with career touchdown number 94. He ties both Jerome Bettis and Priest Holmes on the all-time list. And his guys now an extra point away from taking a 3-score lead. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17.
This will be fielded inside the 5.
Oh, a good return up past the 30. And they'll have very good starting field position as he's up just shy of the 40. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
Here we go.
First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12.
Hey, check mega. Ready?
Hall again on 2nd down.
And able to get this one all the way up to about the 46-yard line. The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This time it's 3rd and 3. A play-action fake. They'll look to throw. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Eric Rowe.
And the Dolphins will take over possession here up at the 44.
They have been struggling to put points on the board so far. While you don't want to lump it all on the rookie quarterback, he's definitely the root cause. And all rookies, they have those learning experiences in their first.
Hill's hit, and he lost the football. And it's scooped up by the Jets. And he takes it to the house. It's a fumble recovery for a Jet touchdown. And he has great speed, defensive back speed. Once he got and took off, there was no catching him.
And I know every team tells you to hustle no matter what the play, but there was no chance of catching him. Maybe if it had been a defensive tackle running with the ball, but not in this case.
Extra point splits the uprights. And the lead down to 10, 24-14. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And let's just say they're going to be looking to start over on this drive. A few moments ago, they were in the exact situation, but their first play led to a fumble that was returned for 6.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a short memory to play in the NFL. You got to remember what you did wrong so you don't repeat it. But you can't dwell on it because then you will repeat it, and that's what you don't want to do.
This is caught inside the 15. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Tyreek Hill with his 2nd TD of the game, his 6th on the year. And the Dolphins are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17.
Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. This one fielded at the 5. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line.
On the double.
The New York offense taking over for their next possession. Well, still early in this one, Charles, but the last time this offense was out there, they threw their first interception of the ball game, so trying to avoid repeating that mistake here on this drive.
And to put a positive spin on it, at least it happened in the first half and not in a close game in the fourth quarter, but you're absolutely right, partner. One of the last things this offensive quarterback will have to witness again in this game.
Kind of an obvious question, Charles, but anything you try to avoid after your first pick, or you say it's one interception, we're still in the first half, I'm going to do the same thing?
I think you want to avoid playing scared, and put it into the mind of the quarterback that you've lost confidence in him. Make sure you get some throws that he's going to be able to complete, make him feel...
This is intercepted. Oh, they try a lateral on the return, and now the ball's loose. And the Jets are going to take possession of the football. Well, obviously, they never want to see penalties on that defense, but this one... a little bit more significant there on the downfield pass play.
And coaches preach it all the time. You can't put yourself in that kind of position if you're the defender. You got to stay in a spot far downfield where you can play the ball without creating extra contact.
He'll take a shot for the end zone. And this one almost intercepted. Had a chance to come down with it in the end zone, but could not hang on. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Clock, 10. Hey, clock you. 10.
Straight ahead is Hall. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line.
Brings up 3rd down and 11.
Come on, 38. Striker, 3-3. 10.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. They'll roll him out right. That ball nearly intercepted, but he could not hang on. Oh, pick there certainly would have been nice. Instead, at least it'll be 4th down.
With a rookie quarterback out there, you're definitely going to find out how he handles adversity, because this one so far hasn't gone according to plan. He's got to fight through it and show him what he's made of.
And that's off the right upright, and it bounces away, no good. And the deficit will stay at 3 scores.
And now 2 problems as I see it. First, you missed the kick, which granted was a long one. But second, you set the other guys up a great field position and enough time to maybe get downfield and get a field goal attempt of their own.
And a pretty athletic run right there as he's going to get this down inside the 40. 126 yards for him on the ground so far tonight as he has been terrific in this first half. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Running game working, they'll stick with it on 1st down. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up. Tua, fast pass outside, complete. And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line. Setting to throw on 1st down is Tua. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Early on, the running game's been working well, and the offensive line has been pleased by that. The thought process there, catch those safeties creeping up, trying to help against the running game. They tried to hit them over the top, unsuccessfully.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Tua. Oh, this is intercepted, intended for Hill. Picked off by Ashton Davis. And the Jets are going to have the football at their own 1-yard line. And, Charles, that's now 4 interceptions over his last 3 halves of football, because, remember, he threw 3 picks last week.
Starting to wonder if maybe defenses and those coordinators have identified something on tape with what he's doing. Maybe a movement, maybe the way he's moving his shoulders. Who knows what it could be? He could have a few tells out there that they're keying in on and allowing defenses to get to the football a little bit faster. People steal signals. Maybe sometimes they can figure out what the quarterback's doing just by his movements.
Oh, able to avoid him. And he is out up around the 15-yard line. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach! Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This will be fielded inside the 5. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
The Dolphins take over first and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And, Charles, they've got the lead. I would imagine the overall halftime tone was a positive one, but what do you think the talking points were in the locker room?
Well, if there were 3 talking points at the half, partner, all of them were about turnovers because they were pretty loose with the ball. Otherwise, this lead could be even bigger. Now, I don't think that they overly harped on it, but I think they told them, guys, if you want to keep calling those plays that are exciting, you've got to take care of the ball. Otherwise, we may have to dial things back a little bit.
Here we go.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. He takes this for 3 to the 29.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
And the Jets D, they call on a couple extra defensive backs on 3rd. Flag comes in. This might be a free play. And that's caught inside the 35. And he takes it into the end zone across the chalk. Now there is a flag down, but I think that's offsides on the defense.
Yeah, I think that's going to stand, partner.
Extra point up and good by Sanders. And the lead is now 24. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders.
The Jets take over first and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Down. Set.
Now Hall to start the drive. And he's got room. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. 43 yards rushing on 12 carries for him now.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Hasn't had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
14 yards is the pickup there at a Jet first down.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
Rolling to his right. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far. Picked off by Eric Rowe. And the Dolphins are going to have it here at their own 32-yard line.
Well, let's face it, Brandon, they're down here in the second half. Want to try and make something happen, and if you're the guy with the ball in your hands, you're going to try even harder, because I think all he was trying to do was to get outside the pocket and see if he can find a big play downfield.
And he'll get a few yards here to the 34.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about
into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Sauce Gardner picks it off, and the Jets are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. Well, still down quite a bit here, several scores, but yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And look, we're still in the third quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is the team that just threw that interception, they've got to be careful about developing a sense of complacency and thinking this game is over.
Here we go.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. They'll give to Hall. Well, they nearly sprung him that time as he takes this all the way down to the 37. Give him 15 yards on that one, and the Jets move the chains.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. And he's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. Always talk about slot receivers, and they're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast, and he used it to great advantage.
On first down, right back to Hall. Slipped one tackle, but no more as he's knocked to the deck behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Brings up 2nd and 11. At the Dolphins, 38-yard line.
They'll go again with Hall. And he gets it down to the 32. He's able to rattle off 6 on the carry, and that'll get him to 3rd and 4.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
And it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Javon Holland. And the Dolphins are going to have the football here at their own 18-yard line. Boy, Charles, you hate to see this for a rookie quarterback. You're hoping it doesn't shake his confidence, but that confidence, it might be shaken because that is 4 interceptions for him now in this ballgame.
It has to be shaken. Wouldn't be human if you weren't. Doesn't matter whether you're a rookie or a veteran. 4 interceptions, you're not sure what you're doing out there. So to me as a coaching staff, I would think very hard about getting him out and trying it again another day.
Open man, that's Gesicki down the field. It's a big play there for Miami, and even 40 yards.
Oftentimes now, offenses aren't nearly as precise as days gone by. They just tell receivers, find an open patch of grass and let the quarterback find you. And that's exactly what they did on that play. First with the pass through the air, nice chunk of yardage there, and then additional pickup with his legs after the catch.
149 yards for him on the ground now. He has been a tough man to bring down all night. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
On first down, a running play ends up going backwards as he won't get close to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he's going to lose 4 yards.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Here we go.
So a step in the wrong direction. Now they'll look to make amends on 2nd and 14.
Ready?
From the gun, they'll try to run it. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. 7th play of the drive now as they come up on 3rd and 3. Throwing now is Tagovailoa. And able to find Gesicki as tight end. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1.
Complete to Mike Gesicki. First and goal at the 1-yard line.
One quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
Ready.
They'll try and run for it on first and goal. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
Brings up second and goal at the Jets 2-yard line.
They'll try again. And he is in. Touchdown, Miami. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Dolphins are closing in on a third straight victory to start the campaign. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. This will be fielded inside the 5. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the fourth quarter. This would be their third straight defeat. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. Call that a very strong gain of 24. On first and 10, it's Hall. And he can only manage to get a couple. Second and 8 coming up.
They know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain.
At this stage, there's nothing left to do but to keep firing. And if you're a play caller, you may go off your sheet and use some things maybe you hadn't planned to in this game. Maybe that was one of them there that worked.
So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on first down. And this will be caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Jets. C.J. Uzomah from 19 yards away. And the Jets get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this fourth quarter deficit. Extra point right down the middle. And the lead is down to 24. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. They're looking at a third straight win here if they can hold on. Here's Tagovailoa on first and 10. He's got a man, complete. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. Give him 30 yards there.
Even with the big lead here in the fourth, it still bombs away. And frankly, it's working. Why should they stop? Go ahead and keep firing away and gaining those yards.
Oh, and Tua going to be intercepted for the third time. And the Jets are going to take over once again at their own 37-yard line. Well, that interception at least offers them a glimmer of hope here in the fourth quarter.
Well, it certainly does if their offense goes out now and makes it pay off by getting into the end zone. And if it does, then they get a chance to get back out on the field and try and do it again. Maybe they can force that offense into more and more mistakes and give them a chance to get back into this one totally.
They have still a 3-score hill to climb. We'll see if they can do it.
Nice way to start the drive. A gain of 12 and a first down.
A 3-score game here late. You can probably rule out the comeback, but certainly some kind of a moral victory to be had if they can get a few more points to close things out. And to that end, a nice pass play there to push things downfield.
Yeah, and we know in this league, a loss is a loss, and no one wants anything to count as a moral victory or, boy, something that feels a little bit cheap. But if they trim that lead down to just 2 scores, that's still a benefit to this squad.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
Okay, break.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Ready?
They'll drop to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 37. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
Well, those are the types of plays they probably wish they had made more of in the first 3 quarters. And this deficit going to be tough to overcome here in the fourth. But a nice first down and a pickup on that throw.
Man, this is where as coaches, you're looking for effort and execution. Even though the scoreboard is going against you, you want to find out who's going to fight, who's going to scrap, who's going to keep their heads up and continue to play.
Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
Well, I can put my defensive cap on right now, and I know they're saying don't give up any big plays now. They've controlled this game throughout, and all they want to do is see it through to the end. I think they let their guard down a little bit with that last completion. Sometimes when you're trying not to give up bigger plays, you don't react as fast as you should on other throws.
He was unable to shake free there, and they'll cover him for a loss of a yard. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw.
That's to Davis. He's got it. Touchdown, New York.
Corey Davis, a 22-yard touchdown grab.
And the Jets get a bit closer. And now before we get to the extra point, remember all touchdowns do have to be confirmed by the replay official.
His first career touchdown pass, and it's cliche to say, but he's probably been envisioning this since he was a little kid. That's a cool moment.
It really is. So enjoy the moment, enjoy the time, celebrate, save the full reflection for later, but make sure you grab someone on the sidelines and say, hey, make sure I get that football, okay?
And he's going to get in for the score, and the lead now cut to 14. The Jets kick team out now to boot this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
Let's go now.
The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. Well, don't look now, but they've got a little bit of a battle on their hands again. Back to a 2-score game. The interception that led to a touchdown. You'd have to think they're a little more careful here if they do indeed try to throw the football.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised by the last throw. That type of throw with this type of a game, I'm going to be very careful about it. Maybe the only throw you make is maybe a toss to your halfback or something like that. Otherwise, take care of the thing and finish this bad boy off.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 35. Here's Tagovailoa to throw. And going deep for Hill. And this is caught at the 20.
And they're going to get this down inside the 15.
It's a big play there for Miami. And even 50 yards.
Here we go. Ready.
And they will take a knee here.
Ready up.
2 running plays, each lose a yard. They'll need to do much better now on 3rd and 12. And they take a knee. Under the lights in primetime, this offense, they gave the nation quite a show, putting up that many points to come away with what will certainly be a memorable win for them.
And, Brandon, I think it's as simple as this. Some players, some teams, they're just meant for the big stage. And when they get a chance to play in this type of atmosphere, where all eyes are on them and all the lights are shining brightly, they show up and they show out.
So for Miami, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season.
And they'll get a few extra days to get ready for next week as they will take on the Washington Commanders.
Meanwhile, for the Jets, the early struggles continue as they'll sink to 0-3. And they'll look to get back in the winning column next week as they head to Foxborough to face off against the New England Patriots.